yo, what's going on, man? It is your boy, baby, JoeNoJoseph, and I'm back at it again with another one, all right? Today, man, we're checking out the unsolved mystery, the Tan family case. I don't know if these are like UK family mysteries, if this is like US stuff. No idea, man, but I know anytime the homie Cal Freezy makes a video, we gotta come peep it, all right? This is him and the homie Chip. It's like a new little thing they got going on where they're doing little unsolved mystery videos and things like that. Definitely want to get into it. I want to see how they put the edits together and stuff like that. I know this is going to be a treat, man. Make sure if you haven't already, you click that first link in my description. Go over there, man. Give them a like. All that, all right? I love y'all so much, man. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Jeez, sorry, I'm
Shane.
fella.
No, must be him.
Right. This case won't solve itself.
No, the detectives are here now. What's on the menu today, Chief? What have you got for me? Please tell me it's something good.
My friend.
Cosby.
This
What up, baby?
is a Tan family murder case.
Right, before we get into this case, Chip, I think it's important that we introduce you guys to the Fellas Mystery Channel. So, what we're going to be doing on here, Chip?
We're going to be talking about unsolved cases, conspiracies, and just mysteries all across the globe. But not only that, we're here to solve them.
Before we go any further, guys, we would like it, if you are new around here, to go ahead and hit subscribe. We are going to come to you with some of the most interesting, the most well-researched, and most exciting cases you could possibly imagine. Do you like
This is going to be dope. I like how they actually built like oh my God, the audio is tragic. You guys gotta let me know. But I like how they actually built the set.
Case, there are some maybe things that might trigger you, might maybe you don't want to hear.
Might upset some certain viewers.
Exactly. So keep that in mind. We don't mean any disrespect to anyone involved. These are merely our own opinions, and we're here to make awareness of this case more than anything.
Yes. And
It really looks like any unsolved mysteries background, you know?
Baby.
What's the case today?
All right. Well, this is the case of the Tan family. It's a family of 6. Okay, we got 4 children and the mother and the parent. The youngest is the daughter at 5 years old. The other 3 are boys, and the eldest is 10 years old.
They're living in a 1-bedroom flat.
A 1-bedroom flat in Singapore.
Okay.
Jesus.
And give me what era, what time?
I mean, Singapore's expensive, so I can understand that.
1979.
A little while back then.
Oh, a while back.
A TBT.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was this? What's TBT?
Throwback Tuesdays.
I thought it was Thursdays.
We're filming this on Tuesday. All right, Chip, you got to tell me.
God damn
what
it.
actually happened in this case.
Okay, so it all kicked off on January the 6th, 1979. The parents, Tan and Lee, left for work at about 6:35 in the morning, nothing out of the ordinary.
Right, and their jobs, what they did for work was they ran like a minibus service, and it was shuttling kids to and from school. Right?
Yes.
Oh.
So they went to work early in the morning.
That's awesome.
Before their kids would go to school in order to drop off the other kids to their school, right?
Exactly, and they'd left, all 4 children had been left at home.
Okay.
Usually what they would do from there
It's crazy because a lot
home.
of parents actually like, especially back in the old days, used to leave their kids at home and stuff like that. Like, especially even if you were like 6 and 7 and shit, they'd be like, "Hey, just don't touch the door."
Make sure the kids are ready, getting ready to go to school, but there's no answer.
There was no answer on the first time that they would usually call in. That no one picked up.
No one picked up.
Right, and then after that, they called the neighbor and said, "Yo, can you just go check up on the kids?"
Yeah.
The neighbor goes round, knocks on the door.
No one there, no one in.
No one answer. So at this point, the parents are probably thinking, right, kids have gone maybe a little bit early to school.
That's exactly what they were thinking. They thought they just left early. There was no suspicion as of yet.
All right, so 10 a.m. rolls round.
I was like, shit, I know my kids. I know they ain't go to school.
Open up their front door, and they're greeted by the worst case scenario.
Horrifying scenes.
So in the bathroom, all 4 kids were stacked up on top of each other with at least 20 slashes on each of them.
And the eldest son, his arm was actually nearly almost severed from his body completely.
They've seen all 4 of their own kids there, but the bathroom being in the state that the bathroom was in, but the rest of the house
dismembered or like slashes like the ninjas used to do, like they would give you 100 cuts instead of killing you or whatever.
And the only
then the last cut they'd kill you.
DNA was a bit of blood in the sink, and like you said, the rest of the place looked like
spotless,
completely spotless, been cleaned up.
So my question is, at this point, obviously, you know, with no forced entry, there's a likely chance that it's someone that the family knows, right?
Yeah.
The second thing is,
or it's somebody who knows how to get through a lock.
Mate, 4 kids have just been murdered, and there's no noise or anything.
And the murder weapons were actually from the flat themselves. It was a knife and a chopper taken from the kitchen, and they were actually never recovered.
So they never actually found the weapons.
Yes.
Okay.
So the police believe that he's cleaned up the whole place and left.
So a key thing to note in this case
I think the parents did
was
it.
that the mum's keys had gone missing days prior to this murder. So
I think the parents did it. I think the parents did it, bro.
Did he nick them, hold on to them for a couple days, and then time this correctly? Not only that, but it's clearly someone that knew the family's routine. He knew, or she knew.
Hey, what's up, King?
That they were out working.
Yep.
So there's a time gap where this would be happening.
It obviously happened very quickly as well, because they rang the children at, like they usually do, and there was no answer. So it seems like it already started by the time they would use.
Yeah, nah, I feel like it was definitely the parents. And then they used the neighbor and all of that as like a cover story so they would, you know what I mean? Like, because it seems kind of weird that there was no, like, if it was somebody close, like there was no sound, nothing like that, like they had to catch the kids off guard, you know what I mean? Like, come in the house, the kids knew the parents weren't coming home. So it's like, who did they know that could have, like, slipped in the house, you know what I'm saying? And not made no noise. If the kids were that comfortable with opening the door for the neighbor, then I would think that then that means that the kids would have been comfortable enough, like yelling, screaming, and somebody would have came to help. You know what I mean? So I don't know. This is kind of crazy, man. This is, oh geez, I'm getting kind of cold.
Usually ring.
Yeah.
So they would the killer would have to know the routine pretty
well,
precisely.
In terms of the DNA, the oldest kid was actually holding on to some hair, but the police weren't able to identify whose hair it was. Now,
why is that?
Now, they say that it could have been because this was done in 1979, that DNA technology simply wasn't good enough at the time.
They didn't even have iPhones then.
There are theories that, was the older brother like attempting to fight back, grabbed a bit of their hair, or some people say that it could have actually just been the kid's own hair.
Okay.
So, but there's no way to prove it because ultimately they were never able to do the right test, or they didn't have the right technology to run the test and find out whose it belonged to.
Now things get even stranger.
Okay.
Some time passes, 2 weeks in fact, and they receive a Chinese New Year letter written in Mandarin, signed off by the murderer. Now here's one of the crazy things. In the letter, the parents are referred to as their nicknames.
Detective JoeNoJoseph.
So instantly, that's raising some red flags.
It's got to
He's
be
got
someone
to be
that's
someone
close.
knows him,
Yeah.
right? Secondly, now this is it's kind of messed up, but it said you can now have no more offspring. Ha ha ha. Now that's just referring to the fact that the mother had been sterilized after having the latest child.
Mate, this
That
has
is
to
messed-
be.
that is messed
mate,
up, by the way.
If there's
This
anything
sounds like
this
it was a
letter
woman.
says, it's proving the fact that it
I
was
don't know,
someone
dude,
that
but
had to be
you gotta
close
go
to the family.
crazy.
Yeah,
This is
You have to be like some type of crazy, man, to like do stuff like that to children. So it's like, I don't even know, like, God, man, like this isn't.
Not many people are gonna know
Mate.
that you've been sterile, like you can't have kids.
Yeah, that combined with the fact that they obviously use their nicknames.
Yep. It's like he wants them to know,
Yeah.
Like the murderer, look, it's me. Kind of like flexing in the face a little bit.
Not only that, but at this point, no one had been charged, right?
That's all.
So this is also absolutely terrifying for the parents because they've received this letter. They can tell that it's someone close to them, but they might not know who it still is. They just know that they're close to them. That would be terrifying.
God, like I'd cut off everybody. Like I'd just be actually, I probably wouldn't cut off anybody because I am smart enough to know that I was the one that killed my own children. So
you'd think with a murder like this, with 4 people,
Let me
being
not
killed,
be-
4 kids being killed.
let me not be rude, like they could have not did it. But I'm still putting them as suspect number 1 right now. It's them, and then suspect number 2 is the neighbor. It's either them or their neighbor. That's all. Or somebody else in the building. That's all I can think about.
1, there would be noise, or 2, someone will have seen something, right? It's a big block of flats.
100%. It's like a community. You would expect someone in the community
To
to
know
have heard
something.
or spotted something, right?
I
guess, yeah.
So the police, after the murder happened, they went and interviewed over 100 people, right? and literally nothing came of it. Not only that, but then they decided to make a public appeal as well. And again, nothing came out of it.
Sounds dodgy to me.
Yeah, it was weird. Now, in terms of witnesses, they did have one. There was like, you know how
here we
there's
go.
always like the older person on the block. They're just always chilling around. They had a 68-year-old granny.
Yep.
Right, and now she was known to sort of be sat in a chair outside in a corridor, sort of kind of like patrolling, you know, people walking past, she saw everything. Conveniently enough, this 68-year-old granny, for the first time, wasn't actually out there. She was inside washing her hair, conveniently at the time that this had all happened, right?
That's dodgy. Now, does she just like not wash her at all, or?
I mean, it just seems a bit sus. Like, you know, for someone that is, you know, like always out there sitting in her chair in the corridor.
Sounds like somebody got paid off.
Maybe a little bit too convenient that the exact time that this happened.
There's no way that somebody's
But
jealous of
at the same time, it's
a
very well she woke up
five-person
that day and went,
family
"Well, here's
living in a
little
It's
treat."
one-bedroom
true.
apartment.
You know, it's one of those. Maybe she genuinely was washing her
Yeah.
hair. You know, she forgot to tape Law and Order, Coronation Street.
Was that around back then? So
What
there was
is
another
Coronation
witness
Street?
Yep.
that said that Lee, the name of the mum, was arguing with someone else in the apartment block, right? But what's kind of weird about this witness is they have the witness and then the witness just went missing, right? Or disappeared.
What?
Just gone. So there's
What,
no
like she
more
gone from the
information.
face of the planet, or like she just left town, or you know? She,
I mean, we don't. The witness could have been a guy.
well, yeah, she did gone Asda shopping.
Mate, is gone. There's no way of tracing this witness, which seems just a little bit weird. I don't know. Often with cases like this, you know, there's quite a bit of media attention. Now, one witness actually went to the
Very
media
British show? Oh, okay. Thanks,
and
guys.
said that they had seen a couple
And
covered
gals.
in blood leaving. Now, this ended up to be a hoax, of course. So that pretty much went nowhere. And that leads us to the final witness. And
Oh,
this
God.
final
Come on,
witness
come
is
on. Give me
considered to be
something.
like the most credible one.
Give me something,
and it was
Cal.
actually a taxi driver.
Goes by the name Toa Peo. Might have butchered it, so sorry. But he's picked up a man in his 20s, looking really sketchy. In fact, so sketchy that he's got blood splattered on like half side
Half
of
of
his
his
face.
arms.
Yeah, he may have even possibly had a knife as well.
What time was it?
This is at 8 a.m. And not only that, but it's actually only maybe a 10-minute walk away from the actual scene of the murders.
Well,
So
that's
he
where it
walked
picked
for
up.
Right
10
around
minutes
the
with
corner,
blood
down the
on
road.
him?
Wow,
And
at
nobody
8
said
a.m. as well.
anything?
That fits
Yeah,
perfectly
on the day,
into
in the exact perfect time frame.
They
you
eat
know,
like
basically
animals
sounded
and
dodgy.
shit out there, so he could have been
you
a
know, you
butcher
can
or
always
something.
rely on a taxi driver to come through with some good
The
knowledge.
taxi drivers, man, they've seen everything.
They've seen
Nah.
everything.
My dad used to be a taxi
I
driver.
don't think that's a good one.
Anyways, your dad wasn't this taxi driver, but this taxi driver was asked to describe the guy that got in the car. Half covered in blood, knives clanging around, and he described it to police. And then the police took that description and actually went to the parents of the kids, and instantly the parents knew who was being described, and they referred to that person as uncle.
Doesn't have to be relative related. It can mean a older man in a family that is, you know, a close family friend.
They've said, right, this is uncle.
So now we're talking about family shit, huh? Chat? Oh, God.
Okay, and then the police managed to get the taxi driver to come through, and they had a lineup for him, and they said, select who the person in the back of your cab was, and he managed to pick out exactly that uncle. So there it confirmed, for the most part, that the taxi driver picked up uncle
Yep.
in the back of his taxi,
With
half covered in blood,
and knives.
knives clanging around, 10 minutes down the street
From where the murders took place
at 8 a.m.
at 8 a.m.
So for me, the
knives
location
clanking
and the
around
timing,
sound like?
it makes so
Like,
much.
How do you call out to somebody and say, "Hey, I heard knives," but like how do you know that that's what you heard? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, chat? I'm not really understanding that really. Like it just sounds like a weird story that the taxi driver, like, how could you just, like, if you're sitting in the back of a seat, like what sound does knives make? That just makes no sense.
So at this point, you're probably thinking,
Does knives make? What sound do knives? What am I? What?
Right, wrap him up. Like this, we've got to.
We need a motive.
Oh,
So
shit.
after the taxi driver picks him out of the lineup, you'd be thinking the police, right?
I mean, he described him because he picked him up. You know what I mean? Like, he could describe him because he picked up the guy, but that doesn't, it could have just been a coincidence that the uncle was outside walking around. You know what I mean? You could memorize the sounds of knives if you work in a kitchen. My mom and I recognize the sound of knives. Oh, okay. Well, this thing is a taxi driver. So, I mean, I guess it's his wife or his mom and dad or somebody could have been a chef, and that's how he knows what knives sound like. But, like, somebody sitting in a car, like, why? Like, I'm trying to understand what knives rattling. It's like, what? How do you make something rattle while you're sitting down? Like, that's never happened to me before. You know what I mean?
Let's wrap him up.
Yeah,
Come on, there's a lot of stuff here pointing, and he was taken for 2 weeks worth of questioning, but ultimately they couldn't hold him any longer because they still didn't have enough evidence against him.
And when he got released, and this is where things start to add up even more, that was the exact time where the Tan family received the Chinese New Year letter from this said murderer, you know?
Exactly.
And he's just been released. They get a letter from someone that seems like they're not, you know, things are looking dodgy for Uncle.
Mate, Uncle is looking sus.
He's on fraud watch right now.
He is. But ultimately,
the neighbor's the most sus to me.
Been arrested.
No,
Because
he
got released there's no questioning, no nothing.
We now need to talk about why would Uncle want to do something like that? What are the theories behind this case?
Okay, I got a theory for you.
I'm listening.
So, the brother of the mother of the Tan family thought that the parents were involved in an illegal tontine scheme.
Right, you're going to have to explain what in the world a tontine scheme is.
Okay, I barely know myself, so I'm giving my best shot.
All right.
It's a group of individuals that pool together a bunch of money and they get timed payouts, okay? And as people within the group die, the payouts increase. The final person alive within the group would get the remaining sum.
Okay.
And obviously, the mother's brother has thought they're involved in that, and in some way that has backfired.
That wouldn't
Doesn't really make sense, all right?
Why they kill kids, though?
So this theory is based off the mother's brother.
Yeah.
But surely by sort of killing those 4 kids, that's not really going to change anything for Uncle.
Well, why would the kids be involved in the scheme? That's not going to make the payouts get greater or anything.
Yeah, because it's
unless the kids,
and also,
unless the kids were going to be involved in there, and like the kids were going to inherit money or something.
This is an illegal thing to do.
It means they'll go down for it.
Yeah. So and he's gone to the media and said, "Oh, I think it's this." So the brother's
unless he is possibly upset with the parents for getting involved with this.
Yeah, maybe. So another theory going around is that the mum, Lee, was actually having an affair with Uncle, right? And then what's happened is she's broken it off.
Yeah.
And he's fuming. He's kicked off, essentially.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird,
and that would sort of explain maybe why in the letter that he knew about
that's some
the
incestual shit right there. You know what I mean?
She was sterilized. A lot of people say that the relationship between the mum and the dad was really good.
Was healthy. But you know, you can have a healthy relationship, and she could still been cheating on the man. You know?
It's true. But I still just don't think, like, look, that is such an overreaction. Psychopaths will be psychopaths and do mental stuff, right? But that is, like, you know, to fall out with someone over an affair and then your response to be to go and kill
their
the 4
entire
kids.
family.
Sure,
I feel like
literally,
something's not
adding up.
I don't even care about that. Like, nah, I'm trying to figure out the theory of the neighbor, bro. The theory of the neighbor, that's what I need to hear.
Yeah.
You killed him.
There's got to be a reason why they haven't talked about the neighbor yet. Like, why did they not add, like, no one got no one got like, hey, what were you doing before you went and knocked on the door? How come you didn't hear anyone else come in their apartment? Like, I'm like so confused, bro. It has to be the neighbor.
4 kids and
That's not helping your case.
Yeah, you're probably not. Now we have another one. Obviously, there was pretty much no noise came from the flat or solid claim. No one's heard anything.
No
you
music?
Would think there would be a lot of noise. There's going to be 4 kids screaming. Right?
Yeah.
You've only got 2 hands. There's going to be kids running around everywhere, all that kind of thing. What if there was 2 killers?
Right.
Yeah, so you've got one who's like maybe, trying to take care of the kids, silence them, keep them quiet.
Yeah.
The other is committing the act.
Or one is committing the act in the bathroom right? And then the other person is sort of keeping them sort of entertained, distracted in the living room.
So they've done the kids. It could be one by one, maybe.
That's true, actually. Potentially.
But there has been not much to support, this theory.
Who's the other person?
Who could the other person be,
It raises
And how did
a
two
lot more
people
questions.
get
It
into the
gives
apartment
Uncle
without giving
a bit
off
more
any
of a motive for
noise,
this
like
whole
nothing?
thing.
I'm
so
so
the next
confused,
theory
bro.
is actually a very interesting one. Now, it's important to note that this theory actually comes from a YouTube comment on a video by Kaylee Elise, right, that was all about the Tan family murders, right? But it's important to note that video is no longer available. It's gone. It's no longer on YouTube. As with any YouTube comment, you want to take it with a pinch of salt. So the commenter claims, right, that their mother was from the area.
Okay.
And within the area, it is sort of like common knowledge that Uncle did this crime.
The people know.
Yeah, well, the community know.
Believes.
Yeah, the community know.
God, that sucks, dude, 'cause I know he didn't do it, bro. I still feel like he didn't.
Was that it was all to do with a lottery ticket. Now, Uncle every week would give the Tan family parents the 4 numbers, and they would go and buy the lottery ticket. Now, Uncle's 4 numbers came in. So as you would, he went over to the family. And he said, "Could I get my winning ticket, please?"
Yeah, and this is big news as well because, like you said earlier, this is not a wealthy area.
No.
If someone wins the lottery and they say, it's going to be
fantastic.
This is big news.
So the family said, "Oh, we forgot to buy your ticket."
Well, how angry would you be? You'd be angry.
You'd be
Not
angry.
angry enough to put 100 slashes in each of the kids.
Before, and then the one time that he wins,
Yeah.
you're saying that you didn't go and buy my ticket? A little while after they had supposedly not bought the ticket, they had actually gone and bought minibuses for their business. So do you remember at the beginning we said that the 2 parents, their work, their business was shuttling kids to and from school?
Yeah.
Surely Uncle's thinking, they've definitely taken my money
They've nicked my money.
and bought minibus, or 1 or 2 minibuses.
So in revenge for this act, he thinks they've stolen the money. He's gone and murdered all their children as like revenge to ending their bloodline for the entire Tan family.
It sounds crazy.
In like East.
It sounds crazy, but it just seems like all of this is fitting too well. Like, it just seems like it's all making way too much sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all just fitting. Like, the pieces are all coming together way too easily. Like, all we're doing is putting together a puzzle of a sky, and it's just so fucking, you know what I mean? It's literally just the outside pieces, no insider. I don't know if that made sense, but there's something else. There's something else here that we're not getting.
Asian culture, it's actually, it's quite seen as like quite shameful to not have your family continue like that.
Right. So his way of getting back to him is to be like, I'm going to bring shame on your family by ending your bloodline.
I wonder how much money it was.
Yeah.
But they could just have a bit. Oh, they can't.
Enough to buy minibuses.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So at this point, we're all sat here with this theory thinking, well, why hasn't the Tan family, the 2 parents, they're convinced that it's Uncle as well. Why hasn't the family reported him to the police?
Yeah.
All of this information,
it just
doesn't make sense.
You would go to them.
In this theory, they claim that the Tan family and also Uncle had ties with drug-related gangs.
Okay.
So
nah, ain't no way in hell they all living in the same apartment and they got drug ties and all this money and nah, I don't believe it. Nah.
If they had dobbed in Uncle might have snitched and said, well, guess what? They're doing drug-related activity. And in Singapore, drug-related activity like that is actually punishable by death.
So they're in a sticky spot. They've just lost their children.
Yeah.
They think they know who's done it. They can't even report him because, they've possibly committed crimes punishable by death. Even if it's not death, they are still going to go to prison possibly.
If we go back to the fact that the whole community
so you can die for selling weed? That's crazy.
It comes back to the fact that because of Uncle's involvement in these gangs, in this drug world, if you will.
Yeah. If they report him, what's going to come back on me?
Yeah.
Is my family going to be in danger?
And then if we go even one step further, that sort of makes a lot of sense going back to the sus grandma washing her hair. She conveniently wasn't there at the time. It goes back to that. And then not only that, but do you remember the witness as well? The guy that ended up just disappearing, leaving. It's like all this stuff is just sort of adding up. And that's why I kind of like this theory.
And then where did we go from here?
So let's fast forward all the way to now. The uncle, gone, disappeared with his sister.
What, like we're talking gone as in they can't find him? Are they even looking for him?
Disappeared with his sister.
To this day, this case is considered open.
And even though we see it as right now a possible revenge, you know, ending the bloodline, the family actually did manage to reverse the sterilization, and they have had another boy. And that was, 4 years later in 1983?
Yeah, in 1983, you could do that, had a baby boy.
They have managed to continue the bloodline, as you may say. Also, actually stopped their minibus transporting business, and they went to work at a plastic factory?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that was the case.
I didn't even know you could do
those
that.
are all the different theories. Like I said, I know the YouTube comment one is probably the one I shouldn't go for, but it's also like the most detailed. It ties everything up really well for me.
Well, the taxi driver, even that bit alone, you know, and he picked him out. The family were able to describe that it was uncle as soon as they had the taxi driver's statement from the police.
I would say, look, we can be pretty confident that it is uncle.
And he's done a
nah.
And he's done a runner, but
I don't care what anybody says, bro. It's the neighbor.
the theory as to
It's the
why
neighbor,
he did it,
bro. It's gotta be the
I would
neighbor,
say is
bro.
still
Gotta be.
up in arms. Look, the lottery
Chat.
one,
Who
that
did
makes
it?
sense. There's a monetary reason. There's revenge in there. Him sending the letter, that's something you would do to let them know that they haven't got away with stealing his money.
Yeah.
People are pretty sure they know that it was uncle, but ultimately the police never pressed any charges.
Yeah.
The
It's
neighbor
just-
isn't the uncle?
Are they gonna find him?
Those are two
Where do they
different
go
people.
from
What happens next, I don't know. We would love it if you guys would comment your thoughts on the case, maybe your own theories that you'd like. We'd love to hear about them.
Absolutely. And if you've got any ideas for any cases
Yeah,
that
you'd
would
like to
me
see us
and my
cover.
partner
This is a
here
dope,
to cover,
dope,
then leave a comment up below as well.
dope pick right here, dude. This looks so good.
Until next time, guys. PC Crimes and Detective Freezy. We'll see you on the next case.
Why he just sensually lick his lips at me? That was mad crazy. Hey, that shit was hard, bro. I don't care what everybody says, man. I'm definitely going with the neighbor. All right, it's either the neighbor, it's probably the neighbor, and then the hair lady working in cahoots. You know what I'm saying? Just makes no sense to me. Not in the middle of the day, bro. She's not missing out on morning news. Like anybody that sits outside in the news, I mean, in the morning, bro. There's a reason why they're out there. Okay, he's got to get that morning word. And there's no way in hell she's missing that to go wash her hair. I'm not seeing it. Hey, let me know what you guys think, man. Comment down below, bro. Some other unsolved mysteries that you guys think we should check out over here. I love y'all so much, man. Big peace.